Hello aspirants, welcome to Ekam IAS current affairs session. Today we are going to discuss about Indo-Tibetan Border Police. Why are we going to discuss about Indo-Tibetan Border Police? The reason is that the Union Cabinet recently sanctioned 7 new battalions for Indo-Tibetan Border Police. So, taking the total number of ITBP force from 88,000 to 97,000. So, this makes it the 4th largest Central Armed Police Forces in India. The largest Central Armed Police Force is CRPF, that is Central Reserve Police Force. So, now we are going to discuss why the government initiated such a move. Why the government introduced 7 new battalions. The reason is the challenges posed by China. So, the India-China relationship is the main reason why the government introduced 7 new battalions. That is, in the recent years, the conflict between China and India is on the rise, particularly border clashes. So, 2 recent ones are Galwan clash in 2020 in the Ladakh area of India and Yangtze clash in 2022 in Tawang area of Haryana Pradesh. So, keeping this clashes in mind, the government introduced these battalions. So these battalions will be deployed in the Arunachal Pradesh area of India. From the figures you can see that this is Galwan area. Galwan area is in Ladakh. This part is Ladakh. So this is Galwan is an area in Ladakh. And there is a river also, Galwan river, that flows from Aksai Chin to Ladakh. So that is the first clash. And the another clash is Yangtze clash, that is in Tawang area. This Tawang area is in Arunachal Pradesh. You can see from the map. Now we are going to discuss about what is ITBP, Indo-Tibetan Border Police. It is a Central Armed Police Forces. That is, it is a CAPF. That is the Central Police Force of the Government of India. So it is under the control of Ministry of Home Affairs. Because it is a police force, it comes under the control of Ministry of Home Affairs. So it was constituted in 1962 under CRPF Act, that is Central Reserve Police Force Act. Under this act, this ITBP was constituted, but in 1992 the Parliament enacted a separate legislation for ITBP, that is Indo-Tibetan Border Police Force Act of 1992. So these 2 years are important, that is 1962 and 1992. Just after 30 years, the government enacted a separate legislation for ITBP because of its importance. And the next thing is the motto, that is Shaurya Dridhata Karma Nishtha. That is the motto of ITBP. Now we are going to discuss about the functions of ITBP. The major task of ITBP is the border protection along India-China border. That is, as per the recommendation of a committee in 2004, that is a group of minister committee in 2004, that committee recommended that every border of India should have a separate force. Every border of India should be manned by a separate force. As according to the committee, this India-China border was given to ITBP. So the entire stretch of India-China border from Ladakh to Arunachal Pradesh is manned by Indo-Tibetan Border Police. That is around 3,488 kilometers. 3,488 kilometers. That is a very vast and a long stretch. That is the significance of ITBP. So that is why the Parliament enacted a separate legislation for ITBP. So that is the main function of ITBP. That is border protection. The second function is internal security. In certain cases, in this force, ITBP is deployed in internal security challenges. For example, like in Naxalism, left-wing extremism in Chhattisgarh, etc. This ITBP is also being deployed. Another function or another duty of ITBP is in cases of protection of foreign embassies. For example, in Kabul, the protection of Kabul, India's foreign embassy in Kabul, ITBP was deployed in the past. And also protection of critical buildings along the border areas is also a function of ITBP. Also, it protects the important persons living along this border areas. And there is a disaster in the border areas, then in that case also ITBP is deployed. For example, in 2013 there was a massive heavy Uttarakhand floods. So in that case ITBP was deployed. The next is in case of protecting the environment. We may not think that ITBP is a environment protection agency also, but this agency is also involved in protection of Himalayan ecology and Himalayan environment, because in those areas, in those high altitude areas, there is no one else to protect these things. So the ITBP is the lone agency in those areas to protect this ecology and environment. Also in this context, that you should remember that this force operates up to the altitude of 5.7 kilometers, that is more than 5 kilometers. So this force is actually a very powerful force, mountain, we can call it a specialized mountain force, because they are in the very high altitude and these people are also very trained. And another task of ITBP is the protection of pilgrims, in particular Kailash Mansarovar pilgrims, that is people go to Kailash Mansarovar as a part of pilgrim every year. So in this case, these pilgrims pass through two passes. So in this, that is through either Libulek Pass or through Nadula Pass. These are the two passes. So in this, when the pilgrims passes through these passes, this ITBP protects them, give them communication services and also medical services, etc. So in this context, we will be discussing where those passes are. So one pass, that is Libulek Pass. Libulek Pass is in, you can see from the map, it is in Uttarakhand. It is in Uttarakhand. That is, that pass connects Uttarakhand and Tibet or China. Uttarakhand and Tibet Autonomous Region or China. That is the Libulek Pass. Through this pass, people go to Kailash Mansarovar. So in this case also, ITBP protects. So now, what is the pass? Pass is actually a way, a navigable route between two mountain ranges or between two hills. Basically, in between mountain ranges, mountains, hills, there should be some way. So this way is called pass. That is the naturally formed way or route between two mountain ranges is called pass. So that is the only way through which people can actually go in the easiest way. That is, crossing the mountains is a very difficult task. So this pass act as an easy way for transport. So another pass is, that is Nadula Pass. This pass is also used by this Kailash Mansarovar pilgrims to cross to Tibet. So this pass is in Sikkim. You can see from the map, it is in Sikkim. That is Sikkim. The Nadula Pass connects Sikkim and Tibet. And when we look at the deployment of ITBP, we have already discussed that it is along India-China border. So there are mainly 5 states or UTs in which ITBP is deployed. That is, one is Ladakh. You can see from the map, it is Ladakh. And after that Ladakh, there is Himachal Pradesh. Uttarakhand is there. Then Sikkim is there. And Arunachal Pradesh is there. So these are the 5 states or UT through which where this ITBP is deployed. So when you look at the pass, it is from the Karakoram Pass in Ladakh to Jajapla Pass in Arunachal Pradesh. These two passes are also important. Jajapla Pass is in Arunachal Pradesh. So you should not confuse it with the Jalapla Pass. Jalapla Pass is in Sikkim. But this is a different pass. This is in Arunachal Pradesh. That is called Jajapla Pass. And the Karakoram Pass is in Ladakh. So before the formation of UTs, that is Union Territories of Ladakh and Jammu and Kashmir, this was in an entire state, that is Jammu and Kashmir state. So even today in the website of ITBP, the 5 states that they are given are Jammu and Kashmir and all. But in reality, Jammu and Kashmir has been split into 2 union territories. So currently the border, India-China border belongs to Ladakh Union Territory. That is a point you should note, because you see here in the map itself, you can see the more than a big part of this earlier J&K is now Ladakh. So that part also you can see almost all part of Ladakh is in only Ladakh shares borders with China. And from this map you can see this is what is Karakoram Pass. Okay. So this area is entirely Ladakh. So Karakoram Pass is in Ladakh. So this is it. This is about Indo-Tibetan Border Police. Now we have a question, and that is, consider the following statements. Indo-Tibetan Border Police is under the administrative control of Ministry of Defense. And the second statement is, Jajapla Pass is a mountain pass located in the Indian state of Sikkim. So which of the statements above are correct? So you can comment the answer below in the comment section. For the answer and the explanation, you can subscribe to the Telegram channels. The link is given in the description. With this I conclude. Thank you.